Alex Carter stepped into the decontamination chamber with a tired sigh. He had just spent 12 hours on the surface of Kepler 442b, collecting samples and taking notes about the strange purple plants that grew there. His white suit was covered in dirt and some kind of sticky blue substance that the plants had sprayed on him. The chamber door closed with a soft hiss. Alex pressed the big red button on the wall and waited for the cleaning process to start. This was always the boring part of his job. Stand still for 10 minutes while machines sprayed him with chemicals and lights. He was a xenobiologist on the research ship Aurora's Edge. That was a fancy way of saying he studied alien life forms. Most people thought his job was exciting, but really it was a lot of standing around and waiting. The first spray hit him, and he closed his eyes. The liquid was warm and smelled like lemons. He started thinking about dinner and wondered if the ship's cook had made anything good today. Maybe some real beef instead of the fake protein they usually ate. Then something went wrong. The normal lemon smell changed to something sharp and burning. Alex opened his eyes and saw a thick white mist filling the chamber. This was not supposed to happen. The mist was so thick he could barely see his own hands. He tried to move toward the emergency button, but the mist made him cough. His eyes started to water. Then he felt something strange. His suit was getting loose. No, not loose. It was disappearing. Alex looked down in horror as his white protective suit began to dissolve. The fabric just melted away like sugar in hot water. First his sleeves, then his chest piece, then his pants. Even his boots started to fall apart. He grabbed at his clothes, trying to hold them together, but it was no use. The strange mist was eating through everything made of synthetic materials. His suit, his underwear, even the rubber soles of his boots. But it did not hurt his skin at all. In less than 2 minutes, Alex stood completely naked in the chamber. The mist was clearing now and he could see again. He covered himself with his hands and looked around for anything to wear. There was nothing. Even the towels on the wall had dissolved. This was bad. Very bad. Alex moved to the control panel and tried to stop the decontamination process. But when he pressed the buttons, nothing happened. The system was stuck. He could not open the door from inside, and he could not call for help because his communication device had melted along with everything else. He was trapped, naked, in a glass chamber. Just then, the ship's emergency lights started flashing red. Alex heard the mechanical voice of the computer speaking through the speakers. Incoming transmission. Unknown vessel requesting permission to board. Diplomatic priority. Auto-docking sequence initiated. Alex's heart sank. Bad timing was an understatement. The ship was about to receive alien visitors, and he was stuck naked in a see-through box right next to the main corridor. He tried the door again, pushing and pulling on the handle. Still locked. The computer had malfunctioned, and now he was about to become the galaxy's most embarrassing first contact incident. Through the clear walls of the chamber, Alex could see down the corridor that led to the main docking bay. Any minute now, alien diplomats would walk past his chamber on their way to meet with Commander Hayes. He would be completely exposed. Alex pressed himself against the back wall of the chamber, trying to hide behind some equipment. But there was nowhere to go. The chamber was designed to be see-through so medical staff could watch the decontamination process. He heard footsteps in the corridor. Multiple sets of footsteps. They were coming this way. Alex closed his eyes and tried to make himself as small as possible. Maybe they would walk by quickly and not notice him. Maybe they would be too focused on their diplomatic mission to look around. The footsteps stopped right outside his chamber. Alex opened his eyes and found himself staring at two of the most beautiful beings he had ever seen. They were tall and thin, with pale blue skin that seemed to glow softly. Their hair was long and silver, and their eyes were large and completely black. They looked almost human, but clearly were not. The two aliens were identical twins, Alex realized. Both wore flowing robes that seemed to be made of liquid metal. They moved in perfect synchronization, even breathing at the same time. And they were both staring directly at him. Alex wanted to disappear. He wanted the floor to open up and swallow him whole. He had dreamed of making first contact with alien species, but not like this. Never like this. One of the aliens tilted its head to the side, studying Alex like he was a fascinating puzzle. The other one took a step closer to the glass. They did not look away. They did not seem embarrassed or shocked. Instead, they looked curious. Very curious. Alex tried to cover himself better, but there was no point. They had already seen everything there was to see. His face burned with shame. This was definitely not how first contact was supposed to go. The alien on the left raised its hand and placed it against the glass. Its companion did the same. They were both looking at Alex with intense interest, as if they had never seen anything like him before, which, Alex realized, they probably had not. He had studied enough alien species to know that most of them were very different from humans. Many did not even have physical bodies the way humans did. These two looked humanoid, but they might not understand human embarrassment or nudity at all. Still, this was the most mortifying moment of his entire life. Commander Hayes's voice echoed through the ship's communication system. "Dr. Carter, please report to Docking Bay 3 immediately. Our guests are here for the diplomatic meeting." Alex closed his eyes again. How was he supposed to explain this? The two aliens stood outside Alex's chamber for what felt like hours but was probably only a few minutes. They did not speak to each other, but Alex could see them exchanging glances. It was like they were having a conversation without words. Finally, one of them touched a panel next to the chamber door. The lock clicked open. Alex quickly grabbed a piece of metal sheeting that had fallen from the ceiling during the malfunction. It was not much, but it was better than nothing. He held it in front of himself as the door slid open. "Please," Alex said, his voice shaking. "I can explain. There was a malfunction. This is not normal." The alien who had opened the door stepped forward. When it spoke, its voice was like music, soft and flowing, but clearly speaking English. "You are distressed," the alien said. "This was not intentional?" "No," Alex said quickly. "Definitely not intentional. The decontamination system broke. It dissolved my clothes." The second alien moved closer. "We are Keth and Vale of the Zephyrian Empire. I am Keth. This is my twin, Vale." Vale nodded slowly. "We apologize for witnessing your vulnerability without permission. We did not know this was a private moment." Alex felt some of his panic fade. They seemed to understand that this was embarrassing for him. "It's okay. Well, no, it's not okay, but it's not your fault. I just need to find something to wear." Keth tilted its head. "Your species covers its physical form? This is a cultural requirement?" "Yes," Alex said, still holding the metal sheet. "Humans wear clothes. Being naked in front of strangers is very embarrassing for us." Val looked fascinated. "But your form is not flawed. Why do you wish to hide it?" Alex did not know how to answer that question. He had never thought about why humans wore clothes from an alien perspective. "It's just private. Personal. We only show our bodies to people we trust very much." "Ah," Keth said. "So by seeing you in this state, we have been given great trust?" "No," Alex said, then caught himself. "I mean, not exactly. You saw me by accident, that's different." The twins exchanged another one of their wordless glances. Alex was starting to think they could read each other's minds. "Dr. Carter to the bridge immediately." Commander Hayes's voice came through the speakers again. She sounded annoyed. "I really need to find some clothes," Alex said. Val reached into its flowing robes and pulled out what looked like a silver blanket. It handed the material to Alex. "This may help." Alex wrapped the silver fabric around himself. It was surprisingly warm and seemed to adjust to fit his body perfectly. "Thank you. This is much better. We will escort you to your commander," Keth said. "We wish to speak with her about this ship and its crew." Alex nodded and followed the twins out of the chamber. As they walked through the corridors, he noticed that other crew members stopped and stared. Not at him, but at the aliens. The twins moved like they were floating instead of walking. Their silver hair seemed to flow even though there was no wind in the ship. Dr. Lisa Hayes was waiting in the main conference room. She was a short woman with red hair and a no-nonsense attitude. When she saw Alex wrapped in the alien blanket, Her eyebrows went up. Dr. Carter, would you like to explain why you're dressed like that? Alex felt his face turn red again. There was a malfunction in the decontamination chamber. The system dissolved my clothes. Commander Hayes looked at the twins. And you witnessed this? We did, Val said. It was most educational. Educational? Hayes asked. Keth stepped forward. We have studied many species throughout the galaxy, but we have never encountered beings like your Dr. Carter before. You mean humans? Hayes asked. No, Vale said. We have observed humans from a distance, but we have never seen one in such a natural state. It was very informative. Alex wanted to disappear again. They were talking about him like he was a science experiment. Hayes looked confused. Natural state? Without artificial coverings, Keth explained. Without the masks that most intelligent species wear. Dr. Carter showed his true form, both physical and emotional. It was very honest. It was an accident, Alex said quickly. Yes, Vale agreed. But accidents often reveal truth better than planned meetings. Hayes sat down at the conference table. Well, this is certainly an unusual way to start diplomatic relations. Please sit down. Tell me about your empire. The twins sat across from Hayes. Alex took a seat at the far end of the table, still wrapped in the silver blanket. The Zephyrian Empire spans 12 star systems, Keth began. We are explorers and scientists. We study other forms of life. We do not often make direct contact, Vale added. Most species are not ready for such meetings. But your ship entered our territory, and we became curious. Curious about what? Hayes asked. The twins looked at Alex. About him, they said in unison. Alex felt everyone's eyes on him. About me? Why? Your emotional responses, Keith said. Your honesty when surprised. Your immediate trust despite embarrassment. Most species hide their true selves when meeting. Strangers, Vale explained. They put on false personas. But when we saw you in the chamber, you could not hide. You showed fear, embarrassment, vulnerability. You were completely real. Hayes looked at Alex, then back at the twins. So, you want to study Dr. Carter? We want to understand him, Keth said, and through him understand your species better. This is highly irregular, Hayes said. So was the malfunction that led to this meeting, Vale pointed out. Perhaps irregular events lead to important discoveries. Alex spoke up. What exactly do you want to understand about me? Everything, the twins said together. How you think, how you feel, how you respond to new situations. You have already shown us more about human nature in 10 minutes than we learned from years of distant observation. I can assign Dr. Carter to be your liaison during your visit, Hayes said, if he agrees. Alex thought about it. This was not how he had imagined his first alien contact would go. But it was still alien contact. These beings had traveled across the galaxy, and they were interested in learning about humans, specifically about him. Okay, Alex said. I'll do it. But I need to get some real clothes first. Keth and Vale smiled. It was the first time Alex had seen them show any emotion, and their smiles were beautiful. We look forward to learning from you, Alex Carter, Vale said, and perhaps, Keth added, you will learn something from us as well. Alex nodded, still feeling embarrassed but also excited. This might turn out to be the most important accident in human history. He just wished it had not started with him being naked. 3 days had passed since the embarrassing incident in the decontamination chamber. Alex had found new clothes, but the twins still followed him everywhere. They watched him eat breakfast. They observed him working in the lab. They even waited, outside his quarters when he slept. At first, it was uncomfortable. Alex felt like an animal in a zoo. But slowly, he began to understand that Keth and Vale were not trying to make him feel bad. They were genuinely curious about everything he did. Why do you consume the hot brown liquid every morning? Vale asked as Alex drank his coffee in the mess hall. It's called coffee, Alex explained. It has caffeine. It helps me wake up and think clearly. Keth made a note on a small device. So you require chemical assistance to achieve optimal mental function? Well, when you put it like that, it sounds bad, Alex said. But yes, I guess so. Don't your people need anything like that? We do not sleep, Vale said. We do not require stimulants. You don't sleep? Ever? Our minds are always active, Keth explained. We rest by sharing consciousness with each other. When one of us needs to restore energy, the other maintains awareness for both. Alex found this fascinating. So you're never really alone? The twins looked at each other in that silent way they did. No, they said together. We are always connected. That must be nice, Alex said, then immediately felt sad. He had been alone for most of his life. His work kept him isolated from other people. He spent more time with alien plants than with humans. Keth noticed his change in mood. You experience loneliness. This causes you pain. Sometimes, Alex admitted. Being a scientist can be lonely work, especially out here in space. But you choose this work, Vale said. Why do you choose something that causes pain? Alex thought about it. Because it's important. Learning about other life forms helps us understand our place in the universe. And sometimes, like now, it leads to amazing discoveries. You mean meeting us? Keth asked. Yes. Despite the embarrassing start, this is the most important thing that's ever happened to me. The twins smiled their beautiful smiles. Alex was getting used to their faces now. They were not quite human, but they were kind. Their large, black eyes seemed to see everything, but not in a judgmental way. Later that day, Alex was showing them the ship's laboratory when the emergency alarm started blaring. Red lights flashed throughout the corridor. All hands to battle stations. Commander Hayes' voice came through the speakers. We have incoming hostile vessels. This is not a drill. Alex felt his heart start racing. The Aurora's Edge was a research ship, not a military vessel. They had basic shields and weapons, but nothing compared to real warships. What is happening? Val asked. We're under attack, Alex said. We need to get you somewhere safe. But the twins did not look scared. Instead, they looked alert and focused. Who attacks you? Keth asked. Probably Mercurian raiders, Alex said as he led them toward the emergency shelters. They attack ships in this sector to steal technology and supplies. The ship shook as something hit the hull. Alex stumbled, but Val caught his arm to steady him. Your ship is not designed for combat, Keth observed. No, we're scientists, not soldiers. Another impact shook the ship, harder this time. The lights flickered. Dr. Carter, to the bridge, Hayes' voice called. We need you up here. Alex looked at the twins. I have to go. Please stay in the emergency shelter. No, Vale said firmly. We will come with you. It's too dangerous. You are in danger, Keth said. We will not leave you. Alex did not have time to argue. The three of them ran through the corridors to the bridge. When they arrived, Alex saw the main screen showing 3 small but heavily armed ships closing in on them. Alex, thank God. Hayes said, we need to know if there's anywhere we can hide on that planet you surveyed. Somewhere the raiders can't follow us. Alex looked at the screen showing Kepler 442b. There are some deep canyons on the northern continent, but the atmosphere is toxic to humans. We'd need full environmental suits. Better than being captured by raiders, Hayes said. The ship shook again, and this time Alex heard the sound of metal tearing. They had been hit badly. Shields at 30%, reported Lieutenant Brown from the weapons station. We can't take many more hits like that. Alex felt helpless. This was not his area of expertise. He studied plants and soil samples, not space combat. But then Keth and Vale stepped forward. Commander Hayes, Keth said, we may be able to assist. How? Zephyrian ships are very advanced, Vale explained. Our vessel is small, but it has powerful weapons and shields. Hayes looked hopeful. You have a ship? Yes. It is cloaked near your vessel. We can attack the raiders from behind while they focus on you. Why would you help us? Hayes asked. The twins looked at Alex. Because he is important to us, they said together. Alex felt a strange warmth in his chest. These alien beings who had known him for only 3 days were willing to risk their lives for him. Do it, Hayes ordered. Keth and Val closed their eyes and seemed to concentrate. Alex realized they must be communicating with their ship telepathically. Suddenly, the attacking raiders stopped firing at the Aurora's edge. On the main screen, Alex could see bright energy beams hitting the raider ships from an invisible source. Where are those shots coming from? Lieutenant Brown asked. The Zephyrian ship, Hayes said. It must be cloaked. One by one, the raider ships were disabled. Their weapon systems went offline, and they began drifting helplessly in space. Target the engines next, Val said quietly, still with her eyes closed. Force them to retreat, but do not destroy them completely. Alex watched in amazement as the invisible Zephyrian ship followed Val's instructions perfectly. The raiders' engines were damaged just enough to make them unable to fight, but not enough to kill the crews. Within minutes, the surviving raider ships were limping away from the battle. Incredible, Hayes breathed. Your ship is incredibly advanced. Keth opened his eyes. It is adequate for our needs. You saved us, Alex said. You saved everyone on this ship. We saved you, Val corrected. The others were simply included. Alex felt that warm feeling in his chest again. Why? Why am I so important to you? The twins looked at each other, then back at Alex. Because, Keth said slowly, in all our centuries of life, in all the species we have studied, we have never met anyone who affected us the way you do. What do you mean? You make us feel things we have never felt before, Val explained. When we saw you vulnerable and honest in that chamber, something changed in us. We cannot explain it, but we know we cannot let anything happen to you. Alex stared at them. Are you saying? We are saying, they said in unison, that we believe we are experiencing what your species calls love. Alex stared at the twins in shock. Love. They had known each other for only 3 days, and they were different species. How could they love him? I don't understand, Alex said. How is that possible? Commander Hayes cleared her throat. Perhaps we should continue this conversation in private. The bridge is not the place for personal matters. Alex nodded, still feeling confused. He followed Keth and Val to the ship's observation deck. Through the large windows, he could see the stars and the distant planet they had been studying. Explain what you mean by love, Alex said. Keth sat down on one of the benches. In our species, we form bonds through mental connection. We share thoughts, emotions, memories. Usually this only happens between Zephyrians. But when we saw you in the chamber, Val continued, something unexpected occurred. Your emotional honesty, your vulnerability, it created a connection we had never experienced before. You're saying you can read my mind? Not exactly, Keth said. But we can sense your emotions, your fears, your joys, your loneliness, and somehow these feelings became important to us. Alex felt overwhelmed. This is crazy. We're different species. I'm just a human scientist. You're advanced aliens who can travel between stars. None of that matters, Vale said softly. What matters is how we feel when we are near you. Complete. Happy. Like we have found something we did not know we were searching for. Alex looked out at the stars. His whole life he had felt like an outsider. Even among other humans, he never quite fit in. He was too focused on his work, too interested in things that other people found boring. He had always assumed he would spend his life alone. But what kind of relationship could we have, Alex asked. You don't even have physical bodies the way humans do. We have bodies, Keth said. But we do not use them the way your species does. We do not require physical contact for emotional connection. Though we are curious about your customs, Vale added, we have observed that humans express affection through touch. Alex felt his face getting warm. You want to learn about human physical affection? We want to learn about everything that makes you who you are, Keth said. Before Alex could respond, The ship's alarm started blaring again, but this time it was not an attack. It was a different alarm, one that made Alex's blood run cold. Emergency. Critical engine failure. All hands to emergency stations. Alex ran toward the bridge with the twins following behind him. When they arrived, Commander Hayes looked grim. "What's the situation?" Alex asked. "The raider attack damaged more than we thought," Hayes said. "Our main engines are failing. We're being pulled toward the planet's gravity well." Lieutenant Brown looked up from his station. "At current rate, we'll crash into the surface in 6 hours. Can we repair the engines?" Alex asked. "Not in time," Hayes said. "Even if we had the parts, which we don't." Alex felt sick. The Aurora's edge was going to crash and everyone on board would die, including him and including Keth and Vale. "There is a possibility," Val said quietly. Everyone turned to look at her. "Our ship has the technology to save this vessel," Keth explained. "But it would require a direct mental link between our ship's computer and your systems." "That sounds good," Hayes said. "Do it." "It is not that simple," Vale said. "The link requires a bridge consciousness, someone who can connect our technology with your ship's systems." "A Zephyrian?" Hayes asked. "Or someone bonded to Zephyrians," Keth said, looking directly at Alex. Alex understood immediately. "You're talking about bonding with me. Permanently." "Yes," the twins said together. "What does that mean exactly?" Hayes asked. "It means our minds would become connected forever," Val explained. "We would share thoughts, emotions, memories. Alex would gain some of our abilities, and we would experience physical sensation through him. But it cannot be undone," Keth added. "Once the bond is formed, we would be linked for life." The bridge was silent, except for the sound of alarms and the groaning of the ship's hull under stress. "How long do I have to decide?" Alex asked. 2 hours, Hayes said. "After that, we'll be too close to the planet to pull away." Alex felt the weight of the decision crushing down on him. If he agreed, he would save everyone on the ship. But he would also change forever. He would no longer be fully human. If he refused, everyone would die. "I need time to think," Alex said. "Of course," Keth said. "We will wait." Alex went to his quarters and sat on his small bed. He thought about his life, his lonely childhood, his years of studying alone, his dream of making contact with alien life. He had achieved that dream, but not in the way he had expected. And now these aliens were offering him something he had never imagined possible. A connection so deep that he would never be alone again. But was he ready for that? Was he ready to give up his humanity for love? There was a soft knock on his door. Alex opened it to find Keth and Vale waiting in the corridor. "We know this is difficult," Vale said. "We do not want to pressure you, but we want you to know," Keth added, "that regardless of your decision, we are grateful we met you. You have shown us what it means to care for someone more than yourself." Alex looked at their beautiful alien faces. 3 days ago, they had been strangers. Now they were willing to change their entire existence for him. "If I agree," Alex said, "will I still be me?" "You will be more than you," Val said. "You will be yourself plus us, and we will be ourselves plus you." "A new kind of being," Keth said. "Something that has never existed before." Alex took a deep breath. "Okay," he said. "Let's do it." The twins smiled, and Alex felt that warm feeling in his chest grow stronger. "Thank you," they said together, "for trusting us with your life." "Thank you," Alex replied, "for showing me I don't have to be alone anymore." The bonding process took place in the ship's medical bay. Dr. Martinez, the chief medical officer, had insisted on monitoring Alex's vital signs during the procedure, even though no one really understood what was going to happen. Alex lay on the medical table with Keth and Vale standing on either side of him. They had explained that the mental connection would happen gradually to avoid overwhelming his human brain. "Are you ready?" Keth asked. Alex nodded, though his heart was racing. "Will it hurt?" "No," Vale said softly. It should feel warm, like coming home. The twins each placed one hand on Alex's forehead. Their skin was cool but somehow comforting. Alex felt a tingling sensation like a gentle electric current running through his head. Then the world changed. At first, Alex could sense the twins' thoughts like whispers at the edge of his mind. He felt their concern for him, their excitement, about the bonding, and underneath it all, their deep affection. It was overwhelming but not frightening. Gradually, the connection grew stronger. Alex began to see flashes of their memories, traveling between stars, studying strange worlds, centuries of shared experiences, but he also felt their loneliness. Despite being connected to each other, they had always felt incomplete. Until now, through their connection, Alex could feel the Aurora's edge around him, not just the ship he knew, but every system, every circuit, every piece of technology. The Zephyrian ship was there too, like a bright star in his consciousness. "Now," Keth whispered. "Connect the ships." Alex reached out with his new awareness and touched the Aurora's edge engines. They were badly damaged, barely functioning. But through the bond, he could access Zephyrian technology, advanced systems that could repair and enhance human equipment. Energy flowed from the hidden alien ship into the Aurora's edge. Alex felt the engines coming back to life, stronger than before. The ship's gravity stabilized and the alarms stopped blaring. "It's working," Dr. Martinez said in amazement. "All systems are coming online." Alex opened his eyes, but everything looked different now. He could see energy patterns around electronic devices. He could sense the emotions of everyone in the room. Most surprisingly, he could feel Keth and Val's presence in his mind as clearly as his own thoughts. "How do you feel?" Val asked, but Alex heard the question both out loud and in his mind. "Different," Alex said. "But good, like I'm more myself than I've ever been." The connection had changed the twins too. For the first time in their long lives, they could feel physical sensations. The texture of fabric, the taste of air, the warmth of Alex's skin. It was overwhelming but wonderful. "The ship is safe," Keith said to Commander Hayes. "Your engines are now powered by Zephyrian technology. They will not fail again." Hayes looked amazed. "Dr. Carter, how do you feel? Are you still you?" Alex thought about it. He was still Alex Carter, human scientist, but he was also connected to two ancient, wise beings who loved him. He had access to knowledge and abilities he had never imagined. "I'm still me," Alex said, "just with some new roommates in my head." Val laughed, and Alex was surprised to realize he could feel her amusement as if it were his own. 6 months later, Alex stood on the observation deck of the Aurora's edge, looking out at a new star system. The ship had become the most successful first contact vessel in human history, thanks to Alex and the twins' unique abilities. They could sense other life forms across vast distances. They could communicate with species that had never encountered humans before. Most importantly, they could serve as proof that different forms of life could not only coexist but thrive together. "The inhabitants of the third planet are curious about us," Keth said, appearing beside Alex. The twins could now manifest physical bodies when they chose, though they preferred to exist as energy most of the time. "They're wondering if we're friendly," Vale added, materializing on Alex's other side. Alex smiled. Through their bond, he could sense the alien minds on the distant planet. They were afraid but hopeful, just like he had been when he first met Keth and Vale. "Should we make contact?" Alex asked. "Yes," the twins said together. "But carefully. We want to make a good first impression." Alex laughed. "Unlike our first meeting?" "Our first meeting was perfect," Keth said. "It was honest and real. Everything important came from that moment of vulnerability. Besides," Val added with a smile, "it makes for a good story." Through their mental link, Alex could feel the Aurora's Edge crew preparing for another first contact mission. Dr. Martinez was checking the medical equipment. Commander Hayes was reviewing diplomatic protocols. Lieutenant Brown was running weapons, diagnostics just in case. But Alex felt confident. Over the past 6 months, they had successfully made contact with 12 different species. Each meeting had been different, but all had been peaceful. The combination of human adaptability, Zephirian wisdom, and their unique bond made them perfect ambassadors. "I never imagined my life would turn out like this," Alex said. "What did you imagine?" Keth asked. "Being alone, spending my life studying samples in a lab, maybe making one small discovery that would be forgotten after I died." "And now?" Alex looked out at the stars, feeling the vast network of consciousness that connected him to his alien partners. Through them, he could sense life throughout the galaxy. Countless species, each with their own hopes and fears and dreams. "Now I'm part of something bigger," Alex said. "We're part of something bigger." "The most embarrassing moment of your life led to this," Val pointed out. "Maybe embarrassing moments are more important than we think," Alex said. "Maybe being vulnerable is the first step toward real connection." "Your species might learn something from that idea," Keth said. Alex nodded. Humans were often afraid to show weakness or admit they needed help, but his experience had taught him that being seen at your most vulnerable could lead to the deepest bonds. "Speaking of vulnerability," Vale said with a mischievous tone, "the aliens on the planet below have a custom of greeting visitors by removing all artificial coverings." Alex felt his face turn red, and through their bond, he could feel Keth and Vale's amusement. "You're joking," Alex said. "We are not," they said together, trying to keep straight faces. Alex stared at them, then started laughing. "Well, at least this time I'll be prepared for it." As the Aurora's Edge moved toward the new planet, Alex reflected on how much his life had changed. He had gone from a lonely scientist to part of the galaxy's most successful diplomatic team. He had found love in the most unexpected place and learned that the most important discoveries often came from the most embarrassing situations. And somewhere in the back of his mind, he could hear Keth and Vale's gentle laughter, reminding him that he would never be alone again. The stars ahead held countless possibilities, and Alex was ready for whatever came next, even if it involved getting naked again. But hopefully, this time it would be on purpose.